this meeting, I guess, to order. This is the, let me see here, 15th EDC-VC annual meeting, the 63rd annual installation of the Ventura County Economic Development Association. Thank you all for being here. We have a program for you today that we'll try to get through as quickly as possible. And my name is Bruce Densley. I'm the president of the Economic Development Collaborative Ventura County. We are a public-private partnership. We'll introduce more people in a moment. But before we get anywhere into the substance of this too far, I want to focus for a moment on what is the theme of our program, which is Go Global, Stay Local. We'd like to give you at least a little bit of information about why we selected that as a topic for today's meeting. First, with assets like the Port of Wainini, our proximity to the Los Angeles Long Beach Harbor, with businesses in our community like Haas and Amgen, with Limonera and Seminis and others, we sit in an outstanding position and already a global leader in many of our businesses and our infrastructure to be engaged in the global economy. In fact, there are more than 900 export firms in Ventura County, generating some $2.7 billion in revenue for the county, which creates an awful lot of jobs. Interesting though, while there's 900 firms involved in export trade, that's less than about 3% of our total businesses in Ventura County. We know that export trade and international trade isn't the fundamental substance of all businesses' opportunity for growth in Ventura County, but we do know a few things that we'd like to share with you. Number one, exporting firms do pay higher wages. They create more jobs than their competitor firms in the same industries, and they're less likely to go out of business during times of recession like we just had. Contrary to popular belief, they're not just the large firms. They're distributed widely across smaller and mid-sized firms. They're widely distributed across all industry sectors. And an interesting study that we recently came across, that existing export firms that export to, say, one country, if they expand their sales to even one additional country, they are dramatically more likely to innovate, create new products and services, and find further advantage and competitive edge against their competitors. So what we'd like to do a little bit today is focus on a few businesses and a few of the things that we do that talk about the resources in Ventura County and the opportunities to grow our economy through a variety of means, not least of which is trying to figure out our place in the global economy. Before we hear from any of those businesses, however, we'd like to do a couple of things. If I could, I'd like to ask our EDC-VC Board of Directors, the members of our board, please stand and wave and be recognized. We are, without a doubt, fueled by their contributions, which are both intellectual, they're financial, they're by energy and spirit, they're by any number of different means, and without their partnership with us, public and private sector, we couldn't do any of the work that we're doing. I'd like to recognize a couple of other individuals too. We had some recent additions to our board. This is Teresa Wilkinson from Fillmore and Western Railway. There she is over there. Those of you who have never ridden the train, you ought to. This is a firm deeply involved not only in tourism, but the film industry to the tune of several $1 million, a very cool business in Ventura County. Added just today, I'd like to introduce Eduardo Flores from Seminis. Where's Eduardo? Their roots are local, but they are more global than your average bear by far. And I'd like to say a special thanks to Patty Walker, who was our 2011 chair. We're going to do a little bit more recognition for her later in this part of the meeting. But I just wanted to say thanks to Patty for her support in this last year. Her leadership in economic development has been outstanding. Now, sponsors, we have a lot of them. You have a program in front of you that looks like this, and the sponsors are listed in there. Even so, I'm going to run through that list of sponsors fairly quickly. If you could hold your applause to the end, that would be greatly appreciated. First and not least, we are in the city of Camarillo, and the city of Camarillo is one of our event sponsors. City National Bank is an event sponsor. I believe they have some literature at the table also for you to look at. Our corporate sponsors are Era Energy, LLC, the County of Ventura, Limonera Company, Nordman, Cormany, Hare & Compton, Southern California Edison. Our small business sponsors, Agnew Multinational, with some information up by the door as you came in. The cities of Fillmore, Ventura, and Thousand Oaks. Mayerson Marketing and Public Relations, the Oxnard Harbor District, Pacific Coast Business Times, Rabobank, Scanlon Garabert Insurance, Sespe Consulting, TWIW Insurance, and the Ventura County Star. Our education sponsor this year was California Lutheran University, and very cool, a sponsor that we didn't list in the program, but is for the bouquets of flowers, the centerpieces on these tables, from a local Sun Valley group, a grower, one of the cut flower growers that makes agriculture industry very cool, one of the many that make it a very cool industry in Ventura County. A round of thanks for all of them. So we'd like to take a couple of minutes and look back at 2011 for EDC-VC. Naturally, with those sponsors and our board members and other support we were able to do, we had the means to do some fun things, some interesting things, some great investments with businesses in Ventura County this last year. Some highlights would include, we fully implemented our Small Business Development Center. We've gone from serving 250 firms a year ago to well over 500, nearing 600 firms this year. We've more than doubled our capacity to provide service. We beat virtually every significant measure in the contract that the SBDC, Small Business Development Center, dished out to us. And I'd like to give you some of those numbers, and I'll try to stop with those numbers and not bore you with a bunch. We helped create over 269 jobs. We helped retain over 329 existing jobs at risk. We helped businesses access over $11 million in new capital. And we help businesses increase their sales over the baseline when we met with them by over $13 million. Is Ray Bowman here anywhere? I'd like Ray Bowman to stand up and say hi. These are small businesses. Ray's work with the team of consultants that he's recruited that has been just outstanding. With the support of the county's Workforce Investment Board, we invested program strategy to help save another 100 jobs at risk in Ventura County, making sure we're keeping people employed and businesses in business. With the WIB's support, you may recall that we continued the investment in our Ventura County Grows Business Agenda for attraction and retention of firms in Ventura County. In partnership with the county and the city of Moorpark, we secured an additional $249,000 in new revenue for services, with over half of that being loan capital to invest in small business growth and job creation in Ventura County. Further on revenue, we started 2010 with an operating budget of around $800,000 and came into 2011 with a budget of about $1.2 million, and it looks sustainable. So we feel even in this recession, we're strong and stable and continuing to grow. And with those financial resources, what we've done that's most extraordinary, as I mentioned briefly a moment ago, with Ray's help and others, we've recruited about 30 professionals, some of them in this room, who are small business consultants who give up their talents, their resources, their insight, and their ability to help all those businesses grow. And we really appreciate them. Some of the consultants in this room want to stand up and say hi, and we'll give them a quick applause as well. Finally, with support of a variety of firms in this room, or groups in this room, from the Department of Commerce to the U.S. Postal Service, the District Export Council, and others, the Small Business Administration, we launched a new export initiative where we're concentrating resources, as earlier mentioned, to try and help firms discover new opportunities that they can create markets for their products and services globally, and that could be import, that could be export. We're looking at any way we can to expand business opportunity. So, I believe we have a couple of success stories that we'd like to share with you now. And I didn't check in with everybody in the crowded room before we started, so we'll make sure they're here. These are two firms that we worked with in this last year, both of which are involved deeply in the global economy. And let's see, the first I'd like is Bill Pratt here. Bill here somewhere? Can we see Bill? And if he's not, we'll just have to talk about him without him being here. In the program, you'll find on, I'm not sure which page, but you'll have it in your program. Kinamed is a medical device manufacturing firm here in Ventura County that employs 20 or 30 people, but in a variety of medical device manufacturing, globally distributed. They're growing, they're diversifying, and we've been able to work with them, several consultants in the room that have done some work with them, and we're thrilled to have that partnership. And since they're not here, we'll talk about them later. We'd also like to recognize an Oxnard firm, K.L. Megla, right? There he is. No? K.L. Megla here? There he is. You want to come on up and say a couple of words? This is Jared, Williams, manufacturer of glass fittings. K.L. Megla is actually a global firm that Jared brought to Oxnard in the last couple of years. Can you say a few things?
Sure, thank you so much, Bruce. Hi, my name is Jared. I'm a serial entrepreneur. You out there that can bear with that, thank you. I don't think I'm tall enough to stand behind this. So K.L. Megla is a 50-year-old family-owned German multinational that wanted to start a business here in the States and picked me up in 2009. Initially as a consultant in the latter part of the year to see what it would take to do that. Operating on a lean budget, we needed to be surrounded with the kind of resources that the Economic Development Collaborative has brought our way, and it's been tremendous. From helping us re-identify global shipping routes and increased efficiency there. Currently, we're working with them to make our location in Oxnard a duty-free zone, which is wonderful. And it's really allowed us to expand. When I was picked up, there was one of us that worked for K.L. Megla. Right now, we have a staff of 15 in Oxnard, and we're looking to grow that by about 30 or 40 people in the next year, and probably expand our campuses. They also brought us our first partnership, which was with CBRE, who found us our location in Oxnard. And probably what will become a lifelong friendship with many there. So we've got much to be thankful for, and we're very excited at the growth that lies in front of us. So.
So, changing gears just a little bit. Earlier today, our board of directors met and we put together our 2012 EDC-VC officers. And I'd like to introduce them as my last little piece here at the agenda today. Our chair who will be coming up in a moment is Jim Scanlon from Scanlon, Garrett, Burke Insurance. Our vice chair is the Honorable Kathy Long, Ventura County Supervisor. Our Secretary-Treasurer, elected for the second year, is the Honorable Sylvia Munoz-Schnapp, Council Member at the City of Fort Hueneme. And you're stuck with me another year as the President of the EDC-VC. Before we bring Jim up, I just want to say again, thanks to everyone for coming to this meeting, for your ongoing support, for all your business engagement in Ventura County over these last several years, and in 2011 in particular. Not the easiest years to be in business, not the easiest years to govern, but Ventura County is strong, diverse, and still growing, and we're proud and thrilled to be a partner with you. And Mr. Scanlon, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Bruce. I don't speak as quickly or as eloquently as Bruce does, but I promise to be here for a short period of time. First of all, I'd like to welcome everybody to this meeting. And the first thing I'd like to do is I'd like to recognize some of our elected officials and honored guests in the room. And there's always a challenge with this because you're going to miss somebody. So I would like to apologize in advance for my mistake. And it would be nice if we could hold our applause to the end. I'd like to recognize Carla Castilla from Congresswoman Los Cap's office, Cristina Flores from Assemblyman Das Williams' office, Eduardo Gonzalez, Council Member, City of Fillmore, Jess Herrera, Commissioner of Oxnard Harbor District, Jackie Irwin, Mayor of City of Thousand Oaks, Kathy Long, Board of Supervisors, Ventura County, Manuel Lopez, Commissioner of the Oxnard Harbor District, Jan McDonald, Mayor of the City of Camarillo, Roseanne Micas, Council Member, City of Moorpark, Brian Miller, Congressman Elton Leglin's office, Sean Borowski, from Senator Tony Strickland's office, Janice Parvin, Mayor of City of Moorpark, David Pollack, Mayor Pro Tem, City of Moorpark, Mike Powers, CEO, County of Ventura, Mary Ann Rooney, Commissioner, Oxnard Harbor District, David Sasek, Captain, Naval Base, Ventura County, Brian Sykes, council member, City of Fillmore. Richard Swanson, U.S. Department of Commerce. Mike Tracy, Mayor of City of Ventura. Ernie Villegas, Assemblyman Jeff Burrell's office. Gail Washburn, Mayor of City of Fillmore. Christy Weir, council member, City of Ventura. John Zaragoza, Board of Supervisors, Ventura County. Let's give them all a round of applause. I know that many of us could not wait for 2011 to end so we could really get our priorities going for 2012. You know, our national economy enters its 5th consecutive year of struggle, and of course California is a little worse off than much of the nation. We've lost tens of thousands of jobs here and replaced them with only thousands of jobs. We have a long way to go to repair our local economy, and here's what the EDC-VC will focus on in 2012. For too long, we've been timid in spreading the word that Ventura County is really a great place to do business. The quality of life, the roads relatively free of congestion, and a great education infrastructure. These are all good reasons to do business here. With the help of the Workforce Investment Board and our marketing agency, we have the message and the tools, and we're going to push our agenda to attract and retain jobs in Ventura County. We have some good news to share and some good plans to execute. So let's start with some of the good stories of 2012. Later this fall, Volkswagen will open a 63,000 square foot U.S. emissions and compliance laboratory and vehicle test center in Oxnard. Volkswagen is bringing 60 highly paid jobs at first, and there will be more. Energy for the entire facility is going to be provided by solar power, and German Chancellor Angela Merkel is expected for the grand opening in October. This is great news for Ventura County, and we expect more. But while the county will enjoy the occasional burst of fame with a decision by a large company such as Volkswagen, small business growth is one of the best paths we have to reach out of these doldrums. We're going to build our achievements through our Small Business Development Center. You heard a moment ago about 2 success stories, and that's our foundation for 2011 and our foundation going forward in 2012. You'll see some more. This year, we're going to concentrate on a couple of major advancements. One, we'll be looking to improve the efficiency of our referral networks. Referrals are everything to the EDC-VC. Making sure we're connecting with business leaders like you for the connections to other businesses and assuring the sharpest and most effective distribution of our services. Secondly, we'll be working more on coordination with banks and other lenders, helping connect businesses to the capital that fuels their growth. Early this year, early this coming year, look for some forums that we will be coordinating with the U.S. Small Business Administration on this agenda. Another of our priorities is training. We're going to help businesses get better, faster, more agile, and more productive. We will connect businesses with free or low-cost training so they can invest in themselves. Manufacturers are telling us that they need to improve operational efficiency and make their workers more productive. When companies invest in training their talented people, the return has never been higher. Increasingly over the last year, this is a need that we've been helping to fill. We intend to be an even more effective partner in 2012. More on some industry-specific issues. This year will mark the release of the region's first comprehensive film directory, dedicated to helping connect and network local resources to film production. You can find the directory at VenturaCountyFilm411.org. This is but a first step forward toward helping build a larger, more vibrant, and sustainable film industry in Ventura County. We will also continue to focus on manufacturing in our high-performing tech sector. Rather than accepting the belief that manufacturing is on the decline, we see a locally vibrant industry sector, still supporting some of the region's highest wage jobs. We have an outstanding team of professionals with the expertise in manufacturing available at no cost to support some of the region's more than 900 small manufacturing firms. And finally, as an organizational priority, we'll continue to add leading Ventura County businesses to our board of directors, assuring that we extend our public-private partnership agenda, securing the input of innovative local leadership to partner service offerings. Now, thinking more expansively, I'd like to quickly expand on the subject of leadership, and I'd like to call to the attention our partnership with the Port of Hueneme Oxnard Harbor District. As many of you know, earlier this month, the Port and CLU's Center for Economic Research and Forecasting released an economic impact analysis on the port. The analysis showed that the port generates over $200 million annually in economic activity, supporting over 1,500 jobs. As a part of our partnership, earlier today, we approved a partnership agreement with the Oxnard Harbor District to join together in the promotion of the county's participation in the global economy. We've had a joint signing of that document today, and as an acknowledgement of the importance of our partnership, I'd like to call up Manuel Lopez, Commissioner of the Oxnard Harbor District, to say a few words.
Good afternoon. As one of the county development anchors, the Oxnard Harbor District and Port of Hueneme promotes jobs and economic growth that maintain our county's economic vitality. As such, the district recognizes EDC-VC is an important business resource for companies of all sizes doing business in Ventura County. We recognize the importance of a mutual commitment with EDC-VC for mutual support and cooperation in the creation of economic development strategies and services intended to benefit a regional economy. We encourage EDC-VC focus on business attraction, retention, and expansion in Ventura County through economic development programs such as the World Trade Center, Foreign Trade Zone 205, and the Global Entrepreneur Training Program that showcase the county's investment in cutting-edge business sectors and the high quality of life for residents. I would just like to add that we at the Oxford Harbor District hired a new executive director who will be coming on board on February 6th, and we're going to be having a reception for her so that she can have an opportunity to meet many of the people in Ventura County who are interested in harbor districts and economic development, just business and life in general in Ventura County. So I expect or wait for our invitation, and we'll be happy to have you as a guest. Thank you very, very much.
Now I'd like to attend to some business matters and administrative matters. Our EDC bylaws call for our chair to annually appoint, with the concurrence of the membership, the New Year's Executive Committee. From actions approved earlier today, joining me on the Executive Committee will be our officers, the Honorable Kathy Long, Ventura County Supervisor, the Honorable Sylvia Munoz-Schnapp, Council Member of the City of Port Hueneme, and appointees Harold Edwards, Limenaria, Eduardo Flores, Seminus, Tom Clancy, City of Thousand Oaks, Roseanne Micus, City of Moorpark, Sim Paradis, City National Bank, and Jeffrey Lambert, City of Ventura, and represent the Economic Roundtable. I'd like to thank all of you for your commitment to working with me in 2012. And now we're ready for the best part of my part of the program. It's really my honor and pleasure to thank Patty Walker, our 2011 chair, for her tireless contributions to our board and the region's economic development agenda. Patty, would you like to come up?
I'm really humbled to be here this evening. One of the things that I have touted for a long time about EDC-VC is that it is a group of individuals who donate their time because of their love for the county of Ventura and their belief in its economic vitality. And we have businessmen and women, we have elected officials who are here just for that reason. And it was such an honor and a pleasure to be representing the city of Fillmore and more importantly the county. So thank you all for that opportunity, and it's such a wonderful opportunity to see you all again too. So thank you again.
It's my understanding we have some officials that would like to come up and make some presentations to Patty.
Thank you, Jim. Some of these words you'll recognize. It's been such a pleasure, to work with Patty over these years in her role as a councilwoman in Fillmore in the 3rd District, and certainly in her leadership role with the EDC-VC. She always understood and fought for and worked for the businesses in the Santa Clara Valley, but certainly understood the regional connections we all have and appreciate. And her leadership showed that and really led the way for the EDC-VC this last year. I had the opportunity, as she stepped down from the city council in Fillmore, to recognize her. As I said, she'll recognize some of the words on this, but the new ones are those that speak to having the ability to lead an executive board and work with a difficult executive officer, but to appreciate that the city of Fillmore makes an economic contribution to the region of Ventura County that makes all of what we do and love in this county and why we work and live here so special. Fillmore, Santa Paula, our small cities are so very important to that economic vitality, and her creativity and eager energy to make a difference really was demonstrated this year. So on behalf of the Board of Supervisors and Mr. Supervisor Zaragoza, also all the board, we appreciate you, Patty. Thank you.
Hello there, Patty. How are you? Good evening, everyone. It's such an honor to be here on behalf of Congresswoman Capps and to thank you for your love and constant championship of small business and economic development here in Ventura County. And so with great honor, I present Certificate of Special Congressional Recognition to Patty Walker and for outstanding and valuable service to your community. Thank you so very much.
And on behalf of Congressman Gallagher, we'll keep it in the congressional realm here. And on behalf of Congressman Gallagher, we too, Patty, would like to thank you for your hard work and dedication towards the businesses here in Ventura County. And I too have a certificate of appreciation on behalf of Congressman and House Representatives. Congratulations and thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone, or good evening. On behalf of us, this is a California Legislative Assembly Certificate of Recognition presented to you, Patty Walker. Special recognition, hardest congratulations and commendations are conveyed for your exemplary leadership in helping create opportunities for our community, our businesses, and thereby our state. Your dedication, spirit of community, and political experiences help shape this county's future and is much appreciated, especially with your service as well as chairperson of the Board of Directors of the Economic Development.
You know, I've actually did have the distinction of working with Patty. We were both on the city council, and before I left, I was actually part of the EDC-VC group and put up with.
I know.
But it is a pleasure for me, Steve. You're going to have another room in addition to put all these awards. It is a privilege to have Patty assume that leadership role and be part of EDC-VC and the county, working toward having a successful, hopefully for our future, economic development in our county. spirit, he's coming back in about 50 days. We're happy about that. But we would like to present to you on his behalf a certificate of recognition for your outstanding leadership and everything that you've done, not only for our city and the county, but just for who you are. Thank you so much, and congratulations.
Beauty first.
Somebody say that, so I gotta do that. Well, Patty, on behalf of the city of Camarillo and all of the cities in Ventura County, thank you so much for being such a wonderful representative of local government. It really is a pleasure to have known you these years and I guess I'm a little envious to get to retire to what you get to retire to, but you have done such a wonderful job for all of us in representing every one of the cities, and we thank you so much, and we'd just like to give you a proclamation to remember us.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Not a senator, unfortunately, but I did want to express the thanks to Senator Strickland, Patty, for all that you've done to lead this fine organization. The EDC-VC is such a great promoter of business here in Ventura County. So I wanted to present to you this resolution from the California State Senate on behalf of Senator Tony Strickland.
Again, a round of applause for Patty. That concludes one portion of our meeting and begins another portion of our meeting. And it's with honor I ask Bill Camarillo to come up and continue us on.
Thank you, everyone. That's a great act to follow. EDC-VC is doing some great things in Ventura County and helping small business. Now I want to tell you why VCTA is important and why we continue to encourage all the support of being the voice of business since 1949, 63 years. I joined VCTA 1 year ago, and I was asked to be chair. I'm not sure how that happened, but some will say that I just don't know how to say no, which is part of the problem. But it's been exciting, and I just wanted to thank all my fellow board members for allowing me to be the chair of VCTA. And not only did they allow me to be the chair, but they gave me a second chance at it. Because I'm not done. I made a list of 4 things that get done, and I accomplished 2. And the 2 were to communicate more of what VCTA is doing to help business and to give it a new face. And I think we finally accomplished that at the end of 2011 with a new website and a mission that basically says we're here to help business, be a voice, and make sure that we're heard, make sure that we listen, to advocate, to always provide intelligence to our businesses so that we can get an advantage not only on the rest of the world, but the rest of the surrounding counties. To provide networking for businesses, to find common goals and common threads to be able to do business together here in Ventura County. Sustainability is a big issue, especially in our business. And there's a lot of work to do that we can do together to keep business right here in Ventura County and do things local. And support. CETA does a great job in supporting lots of other entities and making sure that we help provide guidance with the board that has a tremendous amount of experience. So I wanted to thank everybody for allowing me to be the chair in 2011. And thank for being the chair in 2012. And we have some great things we're going to work on in 2012. Starting with a new blog. 13. You said 2012, that was it. Working on a blog and some new networking functions that we're going to work on to get some of the new board members that we have on board and some new members. So with that, I wanted to thank everybody again, and I'd like to move on to a special award that the CETA gives out every year called the Carl Lorthorpe Golden Eagle Award. Carl Lorthorpe Golden Eagle Award is the CETA's highest honor, and is given every year to the volunteers demonstrating exemplary character. Carl Lorthorpe, who I did not know, and maybe there are a few people in the room that do, provided vision and guidance for the CETA for over 20 years, and I'm sure that was part of why the CETA is still here today, because of people like that. So I would like to invite Ron and Lisa Greenwood up. We were a little worried they weren't going to attend, and that's part of the problem of having surprises. I don't know how many of you know Ron and Lisa Greenwood, but I had the honor of meeting them last year, and they are great people. They give a lot of their time, money, and energy to volunteer and help Ventura County as a community, and especially the Gold Coast Veterans Foundation, which is a foundation they helped start and tirelessly provide effort to helping veterans that are coming back and that are here today. And they couldn't have gone to a better two people that are part of the CETA. They have also provided the CETA with office space, and Darlene loves to work there, and I'm sure she's going to be moving with you. So, along with not only their time that they give and their money, but they have a thriving business that is seeing triple-digit growth. So not only are they extremely busy, but they give us the time that we like and deserve, and Ventura County deserves, because they are great people and part of the county. So we'd like to award you the Golden Eagle Award. And the other side. Okay. And we also have some public officials that would like to come up and present you with some awards. So if you could please make your way here, that'd be great. It's an ambush. You've been ambushed, yes. So who would like to go first?
Hi there, Ron and Lisa. It's such a pleasure once again to be here on behalf of Congressman Capps, working with both of you, not only through your contributions in economic development and your volunteerism, but really what you do for veterans is absolutely incredible. And the Congresswoman is blessed to have you a part of her district, and we thank you so much. So on her behalf, congratulations on receiving the highest honor from the CETA for the Golden Eagle Award, and we thank you and hope to see continued great work and service.
Would you like to go next?
I've had the pleasure of working with this wonderful couple on a couple of events, and they are just tenacious and passionate about working for our veterans and serving this community. And it's a pleasure for me to just be able to thank you for that again publicly, and to say to you that somewhere in transition, I do have a certificate. I know where you live and work, so I'll catch up with you. And thank you. And I'm on the board of Gold Coast. I'm honorary chair of Gold Coast. folks, and I love their passion for what they do for our veterans in this county. They're so
And on behalf of Congressman Galvin, on behalf of Congressman Galloway, we'd like to congratulate Ron and Lisa on this accomplishment as well. They're the dynamic duo of Ventura County. They first on the scene about 10 years ago maybe, and just got involved with so many things, not just to dabble, but to make a difference. And they really have. We did certificates for both Ron and Lisa as a couple, but as individuals as well, because together they really are such a force that we really appreciate all that they do here in Ventura County. So on behalf of Congressman Galloway, we'd like to thank you for all that you've done. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm Lisa. When we first met, I was working with our son who was a partner of mine, Jeff Burrell, and we had a chance to work with him and take a look at what we could do to help with our veterans in the military. And now that Jeff is serving, it is really a special honor for us and for Jeff, and he's very proud of the fact that he received this award for all of your contributions. When we talk about leadership and we talk about having a vision, you also have to roll up your sleeves and do the work and have those actions. And this is something that the green ones do. They challenge people. They want everybody to come together and do things. So, heartiest congratulations. And we're so proud to award you this certificate of recognition on behalf of Jeff and the California Center. Absolutely kiss. Shake your hand.
I can't add very much to what's been said for all of you, but I really want to congratulate you both, and thank you on behalf of Senator Tony Strickland for all the time that you've donated, all that you've done to help these organizations to be the great ones that we have. So congratulations.
Thank you. Would you like to say anything?
I think there's probably a lot of deserving people, but thank you. And I just appreciate that we live in a community that we have so many people who are committed to making life better for everybody. So thank you to everyone.
Well, thank you very much, Ron and Lisa. And with no further ado, I'd like to invite Bill Barato up so we can get a couple of admin things done and move on to the rest of the festivities.
Thanks, Bill. All right, everybody, let's stand up. Come on. You folks have been sitting here for probably close to an hour. That's a stretch of session. Because I've only got about 30 or 45 minutes for this stuff. I want to make sure that you're all awake. All right, everybody can sit down. to stand in front so you can see me and I can see you. I got to stay out of here. Mind of another eye. Before I do this, I'm going to say something that I've said every year when I get up here. But it's really hard not to say anything when you look out across the room and you see all your friends. When I'm promoting this event, I tell people that if you're interested in rubbing shoulders with private and public sector elite folks in the county, this is the event you want to be. Now, I'm going to ask a question. How many people are here for the first time? Stand up. Come on. Come on. Okay? When you go home tonight, say, I am now one of Ventura County's elite. And welcome to the club. All right. Now, I think I got everybody loosened up here because I'm doing some really heavy duty. I get the privilege of introducing the 2012 slate of officers for the Board of CETA. CETA has a board that is 50, or could be 50, it's probably at 42 members at this point in time. Every year, a certain number of those positions are up for renewal. So the people that I'm going to introduce are those folks who are starting a new 3-year term on the Board of Directors. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read the names, I'm going to ask them to stand, I'm going to ask that you hold your applause until I get done with the list. All right? So we all got that? All right. So, the incoming class for the CETA Board of Directors for 2012 is Brian Beggs, Howard Nurseries. Brian, where are you? There he is. Good, good. Dan Bowie, Bravo Bank. Ellen Brown, Bolt Workforce Solutions. Ellen was here. There she is. Good. Al Cardona with BMW. I don't know that I saw Al. There's probably a couple of people who aren't going to be here. Jaime Casillas with the Ventura County Community College District. I didn't see Jaime. I did see Nan Drake, DJ Harrison Sons, and a bunch of other folks. There she is. Wonderful. Henry Dubraw, Pacific Coast Business Times. Where's Henry? There he is. Good. Tom Vaughn with Coastal Occupation Medical Group. Tom's in the room right behind Henry. I'm glad you're taller than he is, otherwise I wouldn't have been able to see you. Rudy Gonzalez from Southern California Edison over here. Great. Dr. Charles Maxey, California Lutheran University. He's out of state, couldn't be here, sends his regards. Melissa Sayer with, I'm just going to say A to Z Law, if that's okay, Melissa. Where's Melissa? I know she was here. There she is, up in the back. Great. My good friend and colleague, David Smith, the United Way of Ventura County. I know he's here because food and drinks haven't stopped. So he'll be running. And Rob Westberg with Amgen. So, ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome and honor stand up. We got one more thing. So everybody that's standing, stand up. All right. Now I'd like all the other board members to stand up and be recognized. So if you're a CETA board member, stand up and be recognized. If you have ever been on the CETA board but aren't now, would you stand up? If you've ever held the executive director's position for this organization, would you please stand up? Nancy Williams. All right, so now that I've got everybody excited, we're going to move on to our keynote speaker. So that I can get off the stage, we all get on the meeting as soon as we're done. The only problem is I'm not sure who's going to, Mr. Stensley is going to introduce our keynote speaker. So without further ado, I'm going to exit stage right. Thank you, folks, for your attention. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Bill and Visita. Before I introduce our speaker, I want to do one thing that I missed in my notes earlier. Is Kelly Noble floating around here somewhere? Kelly Noble is EDC-VC's heart and soul, who put all this together. She was in the bar.
I was getting somebody else a drink, I swear.
Always in service. It is my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker, Tommy Andrea with Haas. His bio is in the program, so I'm not going to go there in detail. I'd like to say just two things about Tommy that I had a chance to meet him over the last couple of months, doing a little bit of work together on workforce issues in Ventura County in specific. He has an extraordinarily diverse background. While he's doing human resources issues now, Tommy's an engineer by trade and background, at least in some degree, and has worked extensively across the wide diversity of functions within Haas. What I really want to say is if any of you have not taken a tour of Haas, now Tommy is not the tour guide, but he did tour a handful of us on one occasion. I swear to God, you go into this place with 1 million square feet in total. Unbelievable, diversified facility. And it is so high-tech, you'd think you just entered the bridge of the Starship Enterprise or something equivalent to that. It is an extraordinary manifestation of ingenuity, of 21st century, 22nd century technology, and it's very cool to have him here and to share a little bit about their work in the global economy. Tommy, you want to come on up?
For the elite of the county, if you guys visit, I promise I will give you a personal tour. So, thank you for inviting me. Tonight I will put on my international business hat, a hat that I wore for 10 years out of my 20 years at Haas Automation. So the question tonight is to export or not to export. That's the question. Current statistics show that the USA has about 5% of the world population and 25% of the world's GDP. If you are currently not exporting your product, you are not being considered by the other 75% of the world market. The fastest growing economy in the world, it's not the US. And as a matter of fact, the long-term outlook shows that it will never be the US. So it only makes sense to start looking abroad. But our company is ready to export. Well, first I'm going to discourage you a little. Maybe depress you a little. Then I will hopefully uplift you with a couple of cases from Haas. And eventually I will conclude with a couple of examples to prove that it can be done. So why is exporting so challenging? Well, because it adds an entire layer to the order to cash process. Here are just a few questions you need to answer. Is your product exportable? Is it restricted? Did you classify your product correctly with the US Department of Commerce? Do you know the consequences if you did not? Is there a market for your product? Are you aware of the currency risk? Who will take that risk? You or your customer? And did you buy insurance for it? Are you cognizant that after all these difficulties, exports, most of the time, will result in lower margins? Do not forget to deduct duties, freight, tax from the cost of making your product. Are you still making a profit? Is it worth it? Wait, but there's more. Are you ready to modify your product to fit the different markets around the world? European community regulations can be a real thing. Are you ready to travel to each country in which you plan to export? And you didn't plan to export to a country that you didn't visit. And Cancun and Puerto Vallarta does not mean you visited Mexico. Do you know one of the hottest American exports to France? It is Jenny Craig. Yes, Jenny Craig. The number of overweight adults in France grew 11% from 2006 to 2009, and 1 in 3 people are now overweight. So much for the wine and cheese diet. So let's get into the cooking. France is the fastest growing market for Jenny Craig, but in order to achieve this, the company had to adjust its program to suit French tastes. It is practically impossible to succeed in a foreign market without making a brave effort to adapt to that market. Did I scare you enough? I hope not. It is difficult but not impossible. And the rewards could be huge. It can really be the difference between staying in business and closing your doors. The machine tool business, the business we're in, it's a cyclical one. And economic downturns are exaggerating our business. In 2009, Haas has had a year in which sales dropped 60%. Out of those remaining 40%, half of them were exports. So you can imagine the dire situation we would have been if it wasn't for the exports. Also, the exports is what helped us, it's our global presence that has helped us speed up the recovery for 1 year. Most of the questions raised earlier could be answered pretty easy once you have a plan. As far as the research, well, you already do business in California, so you're almost there. Sometimes it seems harder to business with the state of California and decipher its requirements than to do business with China. The U.S. Department of Commerce has a very comprehensive website that can be a lot of help. And trade associations are a great resource to understand the foreign market. I do understand from an earlier speech that, Bruce's speech, that you do not have to go there, and you do have local professional resources available to you at no cost. That's actually great help. Now about us, Haas Automation. Haas Automation has a goal this year of $1 billion in sales versus $860 million in 2011. Out of the $1 billion, more than 55% is expected to be export. By the way, 2010 was our highest year in exports with 60%, and we are planning to surpass that in 2013. We feel that a good balance is actually 75% exports, and that's our future goal. One of our strategies in order to better integrate into global economy was to create Haas sales and service support around the world. We have opened facilities in Brussels, Belgium for Europe, in Mumbai for India, and in Shanghai, China for the rest of Asia. But there was a day where we didn't have any exports, we had 0 exports. Then there was a day when we had 10% exports, but we had a 35% market share. That's when we reached that market share, it's when we start looking abroad. So did McDonald's, Caterpillar, Boeing, they all went outside in order to grow, and so did we. If we were at 5% market share, we would have probably concentrated on how to get to 10%. In the beginning, there were overwhelming obstacles getting out of California, much less exporting to Argentina. But once we established ourselves domestically, we really started to look abroad. We started picking up the low-hanging fruit, and that's UK, spoke the language, Mexico and Canada for the proximity, for the geographic proximity. As we started to make little progress, we realized that we had to make it a company-wide goal. We went from having a 10% new product every year to we will be over 50% exports in 3 years. And that was from 30%. Pretty happy goal. So goals are nice, especially when you accomplish them, but in the process we learned some good lessons. And while these are our lessons, I really think you'll get a good idea of what it took. We learned not to make assumptions. And not everybody has good robots. So make shipments better for machines and spare parts. Not everybody has forklifts. So design the machine so it can be lifted with cranes. Not everybody has easy access to cheap gasoline like we do. Make service easy, consolidate parts, and make them backwards compatible. Not everybody speaks a little English. Make training materials visual and easy to understand in any language without words. We also translated our control in 19 languages to make it
more user-friendly. We've learned the service actually matters a lot. The customer in India should get the same service as the customer in India. And nothing helps sell a product sell a product made thousands of miles away on the other side of the world, like a company that stands behind its product with a good warranty and support. We've learned that in Korean, the word no does not exist, and they think it's just an invitation to negotiation. Can you design a new machine for us? No. Okay, so when can you design it? We've learned not to be arrogant and learn to understand the cultural and business differences. We redesigned our machine to fit the Indian market, a market notorious for its power failures, with a power detect failure module. Once we did that, our machines took off in India, but that wasn't before we told a couple of customers to fix your power. Not our finest moment. And probably the most important lesson, whoever distributes your product must be your partner. Partner with someone who knows the local rules and culture, but keep control over your product. In our case, our distributors win if we win, and they lose if we lose. They listen to us and we listen to them. We are in the same boat and we're pulling in the same direction. Again, this is what worked for us. I'm sure that some of these growing pains examples will work for you too, and you'll discover many more. At the end of the day, as the word flattens, if you're not the ones with a global presence, someone else will. If all the hard work I described would be necessary to export to Florida, you would do it in a heartbeat. There is no reason not to consider exporting your product, especially when you know that product has something going for it. It is made in America. I'm not going to go into a dissertation about marketing your product, but our humble advice is to always remember that around the world, made in America has a lot of weight, and they expect a superior product, one that will give them pride of ownership. As a member of the Haas team, I have been around the world, and please believe me when I say the only place in America an American manufactured product is not viewed as a great product is America. Around the world, American products are highly regarded and people are paying a premium for them. So if you ever have the crazy idea of exporting rice to China, make sure you market it as the best value for the money, because it is, as it is made in America. Thank you.
While we're taking our we have a few minutes for some questions for Tavi. I would love to hear some folks drill him on selling rice to the Chinese, or fixing the power grid of India, or any other questions, or we'll just get on with dinner. There's one.
So you have a lot of subcontractors that work with cost automation. How do your subs modify their products, and do you take some responsibility for their products as well? Does that make sense?
I'm not sure, but I'll try to answer.
Okay.
The same idea of partnership with distributors we use with our vendors. It's exactly the same idea. We partner with them, and it's the same win-win relationship that we try to foster and to try to have with all our partners. We do take responsibility for changes. We do tell them, we give them heads up, and we work with them. Even for vendors outside the county, the state, or outside the country, we do visit to make sure to ensure and help them and ensure the cost quality is there. I hope that answers the question. It's hard to follow with questions when the next thing is actually drink some food.
Yeah, well, Tavi, thank you for coming. I spoke with Tavi about a month ago, and he does a great job, and I want to thank you for coming and sharing today. speak at the last meeting about what we could do, and this is a full room here, to help Haas Automation continue to grow in Ventura County, expand in Ventura County. And what can we do to help you?
You will never get to eat tonight. Well, to follow on what we said when Banquet to Prosperity, actually this Tuesday I do have a meeting with Peggy Velarde to go visit the Camarillo Airport facility to see if we can do something there. What he can do is allow us to grow. Let us do business. Make business easy for us. Let us grow here. We're 1 million square feet under the roof with another 400,000. We employ a bunch of people and we're growing. Help us make business easy for us. That's pretty much it.
Thank you, Tommy, that was fantastic. Another round of applause. I just want to thank all of you. That last answer that Tommy gave about talking about the Camarillo facility, that's about workforce skills. And the primary issue that we have for business competitiveness in Ventura County is not only our quality of life, but it's our education pipeline. It's the quality of the people, the quality of our educated workforce. You all know that. You're all part of that. Thank you for being here. You are now liberated. You are free. You are part of dinner. Dinner will be served soon, and I believe the bar is open, and that's the last word. Thank you very much.